Welcome to 79 Studio. South Korea's chip giant just cashed in big on Wall Street. And now the real test begins. SK Hynix raised $26.5 billion through a record first-time share sale in the US. Now a trillion-dollar firm, it faces a tricky balancing act. Exactingly demanding stakeholders are already circling with competing expectations. The company has to prove it can actually satisfy those demands instead of just resting on its recent win. Why does this matter? Because raising that kind of capital doesn't automatically solve the pressure. We'll watch how SK Hynix navigates its exacting stakeholders next. If they lean too hard on short-term payouts instead of long-term capacity, the market reacts. This comes down to execution, not just the headline number. So Disney's big live-action Moana hit the screen this weekend, and the receipts are pretty interesting. It pulled in roughly $43 million over the weekend across North America. That sounds like a solid number on paper, but it's actually about 30% below what Disney was expecting. They really thought this live-action remake would clear a bigger crowd, and it just didn't land with theatergoers yet. That gap matters because it points straight at Disney's current playbook. The studio has been running a remake-heavy conveyor belt that usually guarantees quick returns. When one drops 30% this early, it casts real doubt on that formula. If audiences aren't buying the nostalgia pitch anymore, expect Disney to hit pause and rethink what they're pushing next. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just a choke point for oil anymore, it's an economic trap. And Rep. Greg Stanton is warning Washington, we're paying the price right now. Stanton says the Trump admin needs a stronger diplomatic play to reopen the strait and negotiate a more accountable agreement with Iran. He warns the conflict is already spiking economic and geopolitical risks. But he's connecting this to our global standoff too. Stanton defends deeper ties with Canada, Mexico, and other U.S. allies as essential to competing with China. On the ground, he also condemned settler violence in the West Bank following an incident involving Rep. Ro Khanna. So what? Stanton is flagging that without a diplomatic off-ramp, the economic hit from the strait staying shut will keep getting worse. His push for Canada and Mexico makes it clear he views alliances as the foundation for beating China, not just reacting to the Middle East. Plus his sharp reaction to Khanna shows the tension over how these local flashpoints are handled is already visible. If you own a diesel car in the UK, chances are you just lost a massive legal fight against the automakers. The High Court just shut down most of the Dieselgate's lawsuit, filed by 1.6 million British car owners. The judge found that the engine software in question mostly didn't hide performance behind the scenes, meaning it wasn't a prohibited defeat device. Manufacturers are already celebrating the win, though the ruling did note that a few strategies in some Mercedes and Peugeot cars might still cross that line. Why does this matter? It just closes the door on mass compensation for millions of owners. Going forward, scrutiny will shift from blanket claims to specific engine maps. The real question now is whether those flagged Mercedes and Peugeot cases move forward, and what that means for buyers who paid a premium for cleaner diesel tech that never really delivered. SK Hynix just made its American stock debut, and investors piled in so fast, it jumped 14% before the afternoon bell. The shares opened around $17 higher than the initial offering price. It's trading under SK5 right now, but switches to SK5 on Tuesday. The deal was priced at $149, pulling in $26.5 billion total. That cash goes straight into building new factories and grabbing next-gen equipment. And as the chairman told CNBC, demand is just enormous. This isn't a quick pop. It's a serious cash injection that fast-tracks their push to expand AI chip production. Keep an eye on how they deploy that $26 billion over the next few months, and whether the ticker flip pulls in more U.S. buyers next week.